Welcome to the SEO Insider with your host, Seth Price, founder of Blue Shark, taking you inside the world of legal marketing and all things digital.
Welcome everyone to the SEO Insider. We are thrilled to have Dennis Yu from Blitz Metrics with us today. Welcome, Dennis.
Pleasure to see you again, Seth.
You know, look, you have been everywhere of late, but like I know that I've known you for years in the digital space. I go back to the late 90s and the first dot-com bubble in New York. You were with some of the juggernauts in the space. Tell me, like, what has your journey been?
I am not your ordinary search engine engineer or SEO or marketing person. I'm not a marketing person. I'm a search engine engineer. And I built the analytics at Yahoo 20 some years ago. And my job was to protect the analytics and also protect the search engine from all these people that are trying to manipulate our search results. So this is before the days of Matt Cutts and these sorts of public representatives, because search engines weren't really a thing until Google basically popularized it in like 2005, 2006. So I was going around the conference circuit 20 some years ago, speaking as Yahoo at these different conferences before it was, I mean, technically, I think Bruce Clay invented the term SEO. He's a good buddy of mine. But we were calling it webmastering, if you remember. It wasn't SEO. It was building websites, and before websites, it was bulletin boards, and before bulletin boards, it was freaking, and I was doing freaking 30 plus years ago. So
right, and a lot of it was figuring out. I remember back in the day, there were so many different search engines, and figuring out what was going to survive. You had no idea. And
we saw Alta Vista and Dogpile. And even digital equipment got into the game. And back then we're using, Mozilla. This is before there were even web browsers, right? I did most of my email using Pine on the Unix system.
Wow.
Like 35 years ago, I was doing that. Anyway, I don't want to tell you how old I am.
No. So I get it. So
I'm a search engine engineer, okay? And I've seen all these other marketing people come into the space trying to tell everyone how search engines work and all this black box voodoo nonsense. And Seth, all I want to do, especially for attorneys that spend a lot of money, have no idea what's actually going on. I just want to turn the light on in this dark room. And if all the vendors scream and if all the SEO people look at each other or they look ugly, is it my fault that they're ugly, that I turn the light on?
No, I don't think at all. I mean, look, as a player who bridges both the legal space and the digital space, that's part of the reason I started an agency. I felt that there was so much fairy dust and silver bullets and this and that fundamentals, rather than tricking the algorithm, giving the algorithm what it wants, high quality content, authoritative links, if you're willing to play ball and figure out what they want rather than how can I sort of pretend to give them what they want long term, I think you're a lot better off.
Yeah. It's amazing how much.
Talk to me, the thing that you've been spending a lot of time with, that we are having a lot of fun with here at both Blue Shark and Price Benno, is video social. If you go back historically, social's been one of those things that for law firms, I don't want to say I poo-pooed, but there was a lot of people selling widgets that were utter nonsense.
Yeah,
$3,000 to $5,000 a month to have happy red hair day, or take your kid to work day posts that got limited visibility, no engagement. It just seemed nonsense. And I always wanted people to hold back their resources and say, put that in paid search, put that into organic, rather than the sort of fake stuff. Now, if you have your own channel or you really love social and you go all in, you can do a lot of things in a lot of different verticals, but everything has changed over the last months and year with TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Part of it is a feeding frenzy. At some point, they will close the unlimited world that we are in, and it'll monetize like many other things. But talk to me a little bit about where we are right now and where you see us going when it comes to the power of video social.
So the traditional people that do paid search and organic search, who go to PubCon and other conferences that you and I speak at, they still unbelievably view it as a text-driven world, as in you hire article writers to write content around different topics, distribute that on your blog, distribute internal link juice, blog posts, buying links, creating signals because you're distributing through Google News sites and doing Google stacking. I get that. That's a hands-off, client hands-off, VA text-driven model, which still kind of works. There's, you know, a lot of SEO firms will say, I'll create 50 articles per month and put them on DR 50 plus sites.
And if you want to be in search results currently, that's the game.
It still works, but that's not really where everything's headed. And
no, I'm not saying where it's headed, but there are two things you're always doing, right?
Let me tell you where the shift. Here's the big shift, because there's a lot of technical details that you and I as insiders can, you know, geek out about. It's now a video first game. Even Google has said it's a video first game. What does that mean? It means it's not a text first game. It means you as an attorney or the intakers or the receptionists or the clients or whatever are making vertical cell phone style videos as your primary source of content. That content gets transcribed and turned into blog posts, not text first, where let's write about all the different things you can say about motorcycle accidents in city name and auto generate those web pages, which are terrible, as you know, right? I mean, how many different ways can you talk about motor vehicle accidents and truck driving accidents?
No, it's been the bane of our existence, in that the law is
garbage content, and you know it, and you know it's low quality, and you could talk about how it fools the algorithm, and you can stuff the keywords still and buy triangular links through link laundering networks and all that. That's all BS. What matters is telling real stories of real customers, how you take care of them, what you like to do in the morning, showing yourself as a human, not because you're singing and dancing on TikTok, but because you're telling meaningful stories.
I get it. Look, I'm invested heavily in it, but I also see that we are also at an intersection, right? Things are changing. You're talking about where you're going. There's also current cases, and where are they coming from? Let me ask you this, because this
TikTok has more web traffic than Google does.
Understood. But
young adults under 30 do more searches on TikTok than they do on Google.
Understood. But when they're looking for a lawyer, are they going to TikTok or are they going to Google? And that's, you know, but that wasn't my point. I'm not
trying to. They're not looking for a lawyer. They've already decided based on who they know. They don't care where you pass the bar or how many cases you have, or that you're tough and, you know, you're Daryl Isaacs and you have a hammer. They don't care about that. They care about, can they relate to you? And that's where social media comes in. It's not something you hire an agency to do, because it's a video first thing where you have to make cell phone videos. It has nothing to do with your hair or wearing a nice suit with all the books in the background and the degrees. That's the thing with social media.
But look at all the different areas of law, right? You got, in my world, right? You have PI, you have criminal, you have trust and safety, you have family, you have immigration.
Yep.
Look, I get, and you're an evangelist. You're telling me where we're going to, and I get that.
No, that's where things are now.
But they are, look, a percentage are, but people are still looking when they need a search, you know. And look, I'm one of the unique middle-aged people that loves TikTok. It's so freaking addicting. It finds your areas of interest and it digs deep. And I sort of study it. I see what other people are doing, and I see that there are people doing cool, informative videos out there. But it's at its infancy, you know, for the moment. And again, you're saying this is changing quickly. Google is still not indexing it that way. We've seen it. Do you remember a couple of years ago, where Google said, hey, we own YouTube, we're going to push video really hard. And they put, like, you could basically stack the search results with nonsense videos by spamming the titles and putting them in. It was
YouTube Shorts and all that, for sure.
Right.
I was the product manager of YouTube Shorts. We were in Austin, actually, filming together at Digital Marketer. And she said that they created $100 million creator fund to be able to make incentives for people that are making videos in short form, fun ways, because Google's always tried to do a social network. We won't list all the different ones they've tried over the last 15 years.
I was so disappointed. I loved I thought the technology was better than Facebook's. I loved the way it could chat, video chat, all of that. And, you know, it just turned out it was people like you and me sitting in there waiting for it to pop, and it never happened.
Right. Because it's people that are too technical making things for engineers like me.
So talk to me, like, this is a real thing that attorneys struggle with, which is, okay, they're not you. They don't have a massive following. They don't want to do the Me Too stuff, which I think is that we don't have to sell anybody on that. They can have somebody follow them around with a video camera and do stuff. But
you don't have to have a D-Rock.
No. Just with an iPhone. I've learned that lesson, right? I had a guy with a video camera follow me around, did nothing compared to a 23-year-old with a ring light.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah,
better.
it wins every time. I've done it too. I've hired these kids, these 22-year-old kids, and they use our techniques. And I'll tell you, it's not a secret. And they'll make a bunch of what TikTok calls lo-fi, like not professionally edited sorts of videos that outperform when a professional camera crew who's won like different sorts of
Couldn't agree with you more.
$50,000 professional thing. They're bringing red cameras, all the intimidating equipment you can imagine. And the kids that out of the University of Louisville and Dr. Karen Freeberg's program, for example, a bunch of my kids come from there or other schools where they're implementing our program. They're making short form little videos, and they do it for local business owners. They do it for restaurants or whatever it is. There's a bunch of schools that use our stuff to start student agencies so that these kids can get real course credit instead of just reading a book and writing an essay, which is ridiculous. And these kids are beating all these professional agencies. These are kids with almost no experience. And it's not because they inherently understand social media. Oh, if they're a 20-something, they understand TikTok. Just natively, like they were born with an iPad in their hand. No, that's the thing that old people like us like to say about these kids. Here's what they're doing. They don't suffer from this thing called rambling old man syndrome. That's the number one thing. You're smiling. That's the number one thing that kills professional services in social media. You know what rambling old man syndrome is and why that's so bad?
No.
You and I suffer from it greatly. What is the number one thing on TikTok? You're following all the experts. What's the number one thing that drives your watch time and virality?
You tell me.
The hook, the first 2 seconds of the video. If you don't get to the point, if you're not interesting in the first 2 seconds, it doesn't matter. I'll give you a proof point. So I was at TNC last week, and I ran into the video editor of Alex Hormozi, who's the number one trending entrepreneur on the internet right now. He also is the video editor for Grant Cardone. There's a lot of people that pretend that they're the video editor for Grant Cardone or Alex Hormozi. This is the actual guy. And Ryan McGinn, he's awesome. I filmed a 2-hour interview with him while I was there. And here's what he does. And by the way, don't think like just because it's for Alex Hormozi or Grant Cardone, oh, I can't be like that because I'm not Grant Cardone. No. This technique, listen to this. They'll film a primary video about a topic, long form, like here's what to do when the police stop you, right? Or here's what you do when you get in a car accident, or some kind of area, something sharing expertise, which attorneys are normally pretty good about. And then they film 5 hooks. What are those? Those are introductions. Here's one thing you need to know when the cops pull you over. 3 things the insurance companies don't want you to know, or whatever it is. Like these are a hook. Is the video, is that what you say in that video, direct to face? And it's the same thing as like a subject line in an email copy or the title in a web page. And how important is that for like a blog post? The title, it's half of it, right? It's more important than the content itself. So it's the equivalent of like open rate or click-through rate, view-through rate on video. It's all based on that hook, the first 2 seconds. So they'll film 5 of them after filming that explanatory content. And then they'll film 3 calls to action. Contact me and I'll help you out. I'm the hammer and we fight for your justice. Or, I've created a free guide for you. Come check out what, download, whatever it is. Or, agents standing by, we're here to help you. One call does it all. Whatever it is, like some kind of call to action, the selling part. So main body, 5 hooks, 3 calls to action, combine them all. Now you have 15 pieces of content, right? And guess what? So I already knew about that because that's what we've been doing. And it works really well for even like nobodies. You don't have to have blue check marks and have millions of followers or whatever. What he did, and he logged into the TikTok for Alex Hormozi and he showed me. We're looking at the stats. I'm one of the few people that I could say this because I've looked at the stats, like, wow. And he'll post all 15 at once, Seth. All 15 versions at once. Yeah, but I thought you're only supposed to post like once per day because it's going to wear out the algorithm or people are going to get tired of seeing you or whatever it is. Or no, you just post them all at once. And he showed me something that he posted just 2 hours ago. And he had all these different versions. And one of them did way better. And we looked at these different ones and they all look about the same. We played a few of them. They look about the same to me. But we looked a little more carefully. And he said, when there's a difference, you can if you look carefully, you'll always be able to find that difference. It could be that the one that outperformed, we cut out that initial breath in the beginning, and because like you have to cut out all the dead air. That's why there's all these jump cuts, right? Or it's just the way you said something, the intonation, or it's the background music, or the way you turn the camera just for a moment, or the expression that you made, that micro expression, or there's always some reason. And I've talked to the top TikTokers and folks in Instagram Reels and whatever, and they all confirm the same thing. It is that the slightest little thing in the first 2 seconds, because if you don't, here's the obvious thing. If I lost you on that or whatever.
No, I think it's brilliant. What you're basically saying is we're going from A/B testing to A to G testing.
And it's in the first 2 seconds. You're testing all kinds of stuff in the first 2 seconds. The big caption you have is the text over the top, right? Which is the subject line, headline, whatever it is. And so everyone is testing those first 2 seconds. If they're not with you, if they skip past you, scroll past you in the first 2 seconds, it doesn't matter how good your call to action is. It doesn't matter how good your advice is. It doesn't matter how funny you are. It's that first 2 seconds. And the reason why 99.9% of small businesses, especially law firms and people dispensing financial advice, especially doctors, people who are really well educated, suffer from this more than anybody else. So doctors and lawyers. And I have a lot of doctors and lawyers as friends. And I see this, and it just hurts me when I see this. They have rambling old man syndrome because they can't get to the point. They use all these medical terms and legal terms, and they, these disclaimers or whatever. Just freaking get right to the point. My friend Sally got my friend Sally, her wife, her husband was killed by a truck. And when she told me this, or whatever, like that's a good hook, right? It's like, oh, okay, well, what happened? I got a $10 million verdict from my friend Jerry, but you know what I really admire about Jerry? Well, what do you really admire about Jerry? Right? The hook, the first 2 seconds. These lawyers can't freaking do the hook.
Why do you think I abandoned the video guy and I have a 23-year-old with a ring light? Because they tell me what to do. My instinct is wrong. I know that. And that's why again, people, and part of it is, think about it. So the average lawyer syndrome person or doctor person isn't spending their time on TikTok. After you spend a little bit of time on there, you intuitively you get it because you're making those micro decisions as to whether you're flicking.
And how fast are you making those when you're scrolling, Seth? How much patience do you have in deciding whether you want to watch the rest of that video?
To me, what I find amazing about TikTok is that they have figured me out so freaking well that I spend more time because most of the time it's giving me compelling content. I'm sure if I could think back to when I first got on, I was flicking, but they said, oh, he likes the show Hamilton. So if we were assigned to seeds, he likes tennis, he likes baseball, whatever it is. I like magic tricks. If they once they see you, so I find that yes, but as that algorithm gets better, I am not a great example of it, but I know exactly what you're saying. And again, everything you're saying is crystallizing because I'm living it. I'm watching my team do this. And that's why, humbly, when they say, hey, do it this way, I'm like, sure, because I know that my instinct may be able to get somebody top of a certain Google algorithm in one place, but that the way that people are, and it's not, look, you're saying that it's not just age, it's not like but it is sort of how they were raised in that they don't have all of this baggage with them that would, because I tried to get some of my interviews like this, said, oh, I did these cool interviews, Dennis, I'm just going to turn this into a TikTok. And it doesn't work nearly as well as if we created a separate video where we're doing that. Again, somebody's putting the hook of what you're going to be saying next.
That's true, because this whole thing, like how long are podcasts? Like 45 minutes or something like that. That is a movie. Now, what do you need to do to get people to watch the movie? Have the movie trailer, right? Any major movie, you name it, to get people to watch, there's the movie trailer. So Seth, what's in the movie trailer?
And I think that as the light bulb's going off for me, it's something you wouldn't believe what Dennis, you said here, something like that, which would get, which would get somebody in.
You grab the highlights, right? Yeah. I saw the Top Gun, Tom Cruise came out with the Top Gun. I'm like, okay, he's old now, but it was amazing. I went to the theater with my mom and we both loved it. And But the thing is, the reason why we watched Top Gun was because we saw so many reviews and friends that said, oh, I just saw Top Gun and it was amazing. And we saw the trailer. And you know, when you watch the trailer, it sort of gives away, hopefully they don't like give away too much, but they show like the explosions and the main scenes.
Well, let me ask you a question. I'm not going off script here, but I know for myself, if a trailer gives everything away, I'm done, because that means they didn't have enough good stuff to get me in.
Yeah, but that's because you're super intelligent. So these lawyers like you that are super intelligent, I don't mean it in like a bad way. Like you guys are so smart that you don't realize the average consumer is like, you're like 8 steps ahead. Your ability, your verbal skills, you're like overthink things. Like
no argument.
You are right. You're right. Yeah. People like you. But remember, we're talking about people who get in car accidents or they're looking to buy a new house. You're just over assuming. You're like you're not making oral arguments in front of some judge or whatever.
No, of course not. And
you're way too smart. That's why you're hurting you in social media, right?
It was the same thing with figuring with emails. Like what's going to get something open? You know, you have an email, but what you're saying is, what is your ray line? You know, the ray line of your video is today's currency.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know I'm very fortunate that we're going to see you at Blue Shark in the coming days. I can't wait for you to be able to talk to
in 2 weeks, flying from Pakistan to Dubai all the way to DC to come see you. It'll be cool.
I'm honored and touched. And it sounds like we'll be either sharing the stage or crossing paths in Austin for PubCon. What are you doing between DC Blue Shark and Austin PubCon?
We are training up millions of virtual assistants in the Philippines and Pakistan and Kosovo. In the US, we would call these third world countries, but they're all learning how to repurpose content. They're taking the hundreds of videos, these short little 15-second stories. I have the best-selling book right now in social media on Amazon, by the way. Literally Google it and see, or go to Amazon and see. But we're training up these VAs to take those videos, transcribe them to articles, chop them up into TikToks and Instagram reels and tweets and Facebook stories and all that. That's what's called repurposing. And then turning them to ads and using what I've been famous for in the last 15 years called the $1 a day strategy.
That's
taking
awesome.
your content and paying for Facebook and Google and LinkedIn and TikTok and Snapchat and Twitter and whatever to show your content to people in your city. And that's how you have alignment with social networks.
And I get it, because that's the home run. And that's been.
I'm not trying to get there organically or virally. I'm not counting on trying to be viral. I'm trying to generate business.
Do you subscribe to the idea of testing it organically, see what works, and then putting it behind that?
And so the $1 a day strategy is about boosting a post, meaning it started out organically. It didn't start out as an ad.
Right.
And so if I put something out there organically, just like I just told you with Alex Hormozi, 15 posts, all posted at the same time. One does the best. I'm going to put money on that one. And I might make, 10 other videos about different sorts of things. And I might think I know which one is the best. I'm wrong every time. But the one that performs the best is the one I'm going to put more money on. And I'm going to allow it to run for $1 a day forever or $10 a day forever, because it's the same algorithm behind a boosted post as it is that governs a newsfeed. This is true on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much any.
But you're saying a boosted post with a geographic radius.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things that I know early on, way back, somebody this 10 years ago, somebody's like, we're going to do a Facebook, we're going to do a giveaway of a camera, like a flip camera, when that was all the rage, if you remember that. And I was all excited. I bought the camera, and I paid somebody some money to do this thing. And I had all these people signing up, and they were all excited, but nobody was in my market. The idea is you're not checking your common sense at the door. You still have a goal, and this isn't, as you're saying, get rid of the popularity contest.
Not even relevant.
Yeah.
Fine. You give away a flip cam. Who's that going to attract?
No, again, I learned that lesson.
Want a free flip cam. Yeah. Yeah. Great.
But let me ask you one final thing, which I'm curious your thoughts on. So old people like me, we do these cool podcasts. I have two, one on law firm growth, law firm blueprint. I got this, the SEO Insider. What is your best advice? Because a lot of middle-aged lawyers like myself have podcasts or other YouTube content that's not, is not TikTok friendly. What is the best way? It sounds like you're working on a team to do this. Can you take your middle-aged, long-form content and make it compelling, or does it need to be sort
No,
of
you
be
can.
done from the beginning?
You can. The thing is, remember, we have to distinguish between the movie and the movie trailer. So we put all this effort into the podcast, which is the movie, this whole conversation we've had. But then most podcasters are guilty of this, except for the people that know what they're doing. They will then, at the end of their podcast, record a bunch of hooks with the guest because it's fresh in their minds. Now, maybe initially in the planning, you had an idea of what we were going to talk about on the SEO Insider podcast with me, but we actually went in another direction and covered some other topics. So the best time to record your hooks is at the end. If you're writing an article, for example, I've written thousands of articles, you write your introduction at the end, and then you put that at the front. You don't start by writing the introduction, right? Everyone knows this.
Right.
Every author knows you write the beginning at the end, right? So if you have long form content, whether it's Zoom or in person or whatever, it doesn't mean it can't be used for TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. Here's the biggest mistake they make is they don't repurpose the content, meaning push it to other channels. So you might take this and put it to YouTube, but why wouldn't you transcribe it using a tool like Descript into a blog post and submit that as a press release to Google News syndicated sites? Why wouldn't you take highlights and put them on TikTok? Why wouldn't you link between related blog posts where we're talking about people that we know? Why wouldn't we? And there's so many different ways to repurpose the content. And so most people, they don't have a video team or virtual assistants to chop things up and do that. And these people are making $20 an hour.
That's awesome.
You make the content, which is great. That's step 1 of 4. So just because you make the content, you're barely even there. You write a book. Just because you finish writing the book, you're only 1 of 4 steps. The second one is you have to edit that content. Not you, because we don't have time for that. We have people at $3 an hour that do that all day long. Then you repurpose it, meaning you post it. Once it's been edited, then you post it on all the different channels. You make that content once. You don't have to make content just for YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or whatever, because it's the same algorithm across every channel. I can go on to if you want to geek out, I'll explain why it's the same algorithm between, Amazon and Spotify and they're all the same algorithm, okay? Based on what users are doing. So the third is the repurpose. And the fourth one is to boost, to put money against it, targeting just people in your city if you're a local practice. And most people do the first step and they miss the other 3 and they wonder why they don't have success. And they say, well, I don't have millions of followers. I can't go viral. I'm not singing, dancing well enough. Or I need to have some young girl who's attractive dance in my video. No, that's wrong, wrong, wrong. It's because you're missing the other 3 steps. Excuse me.
Bless you. So in our waning minutes, let us have you do 3 or 4 hooks. What are the hooks going to be when we take this, we chop it up and we put it out there into the video algorithm?
I'll give you a few examples. And video editor, you can, obviously, this is not a continuous interview, so chop this up as you see fit. Lawyers, Seth and I talk about the biggest mistakes you guys are making with SEO and social media. Come tune in now. See, stuff like that.
Take 2.
You know what the number 1 thing is that kills really smart lawyers on social media? It's called the rambling old man syndrome. And Seth Price and I talk about exactly why that's hurting your social media in ways that you don't know. Come join us now.
And the final one.
You want to know what an original search engineer has to say about social media? Seth and I cover exactly what goes on. I think it's going to find, see, that's why you got to take multiple cuts. Yeah, because I didn't say that right. See, I'm starting with the hook, which is the first 2 seconds. Then I'm giving a little bit of knowledge.
I'm following you. Look, I'm going to let this all air. I want people to see the creative process. I love this.
Yeah. This is literally this is what we do. And I've been coaching Jake Paul on how to do this. And this guy has got billions of views, but even he is a student of the game in this particular way. So yeah, you guys are seeing right now what it's like when most of the time you see the finished product. Whatever you're seeing on social media is whatever the winner is, but you don't see all the basically air balls that we're putting up there, right? You saw me throw an air ball just a minute ago. Well, that's how it is.
No, but absolutely. So West, question of the people out there, if you are a student of this, understanding that lawyers are not them, who do you like? Doesn't be the most famous with them. Who do you think is doing this really well right now that you would recommend people emulate?
Oh, well, Ali Awad's a friend of mine and I coach him, but a lot of people are like, I don't want to be like Ali Awad. I'd look at people like Ethan Ostroff, who is doing more. He's not as charismatic. He's just giving advice. Hey, do you use Roundup? Or are you a user of Roundup? And do you have this kind of cancer? Contact me. I might be able to help you. Do you live in this particular town with this coal mine? And did you, drink the water and get some kind of disease? Contact me. I might be able to give you some justice, right? We see if we can help. Just simple things like that, straight to the point, not this rambling on and on and on thing. Like literally, can you say something in just a few seconds? That's what this exercise is about. That's what these young adults are all about. They don't want to hear you go on and on and on. You need to use simple words. Keep it simple.
Anybody outside of legal that you think are...
Justin Martin is a real estate agent. He sold 500 homes last year in Denver. He's the #1 agent, I believe, in Denver. And what does he do? He's highlighting his family life. They live on a lake and they go jet skiing at night and they do marshmallows or s'mores by the fire. But he's also making stuff like, hey, check out this house. It's going for $1.2 million. And let me tell you why I think this is a good deal. Or check out this other house. It's got 3 bedrooms and it's in this part of town. And it's an up and coming part of town because just across the street, they're building a Whole Foods. So now is actually the right time to buy a house because interest rates are going up. And while you're always waiting, or here's why I'm not worried about the housing market going down. It's because this, and this. And did you know the Fed just increased interest rates from this percent to this percent? Well, let me tell you what that means about how that affects inventory. Are you looking at buying and selling your house at the same time and you're worried that if you sell your house, you'll be caught in between and not have a house to move into? Here's 5 things you need to do to not get caught in that situation. This is what he's doing. And he's got 70 agents on his team, and they're all making short little videos like this, all selfie style videos, not professionally edited. And that's driving them tons of leads, and they're selling tons of houses because of this. Oh, another one, go to YouTube and go look for Living in Dallas. And these guys buy and sell houses in Dallas. They're another real estate agent. Full disclosure, they're also a client. And they're talking about, hey, Flower Mound is the number 6 fastest growing community in the United States. And the reason why is because let's do a little tour of Flower Mound. So here's this part of Flower Mound, and here's the park, and here's where this new shopping mall's going. And the Dallas Cowboys, their practice facility is up here in this particular town, and check this out. And they're literally just giving tours all around Dallas, what it's like to live in Dallas. And they're generating, they are getting millions of views and all that, but their goal is not to be YouTube famous. Their goal is that when people are looking to move from Los Angeles because they're tired, they're leaving California because they don't like all the whatever. I'm not political, okay? These people are leaving California for various reasons, and they're going to other places because they don't want to pay taxes and all that. And these guys, their videos show up. They're just killing it. Now, I audited their channel, and are they celebrities and are they like good on video? I guess they're okay. I don't think they're any better than you or me. These are just normal people, and they're just making content. They're not super charismatic or super attractive. They're just making content, but they're making content in the way that we're talking about. That's the difference.
Look, you
don't have to be beautiful. You don't have to play the guitar, okay?
Well, I appreciate you. This has been awesome, enlightening. I hope our audience got as much out of it as I did, because I just thought it was great. Can't wait to see you in person, and just keep it going. The energy and the excitement here is infectious, and the lessons learned are certainly valuable ones. So thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, Seth. And what I'd love to see you do is maybe right now record a couple hooks to talk about why should an attorney spend their valuable time listening to the conversation we just had.
Tune into our video and hear Dennis Yu give you what's next in video. Don't love that first take.
You keep going. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not even the words that you say, it's like how you say it. Because if I was just looking at this, I'm thinking, all right, I have lots of things. Like, I would love to get more sleep. I'd love to spend more time with my family. I'd love to go exercise. Why would I want to spend this amount of time with Seth and Dennis?
You thought A/B
You got to really convince me this is worth my time, right?
You thought A/B testing was cool. Imagine if you could test 15 videos at once. Tune in and find out. These are the pieces.
Yeah.
Multi-purposing your content. If you're not doing it, you're missing out.
Yeah. You want to see how the pros doing it, how the pros are doing it, and how you're not? Seth and I are going to save you a ton of headache by showing you exactly what to do.
Got it. Well,
Yeah.
Dennis,
See?
thank you so much. Hope
Awesome,
to have you
Seth.
back on the SEO Insider real soon.
Yeah, and we'll do one in person. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to the SEO Insider with Seth Price. Be sure to check back next week for fresh insights into building your brand's online presence. Episodes are available to stream directly on Blue Shark Digital's website.